Hello students, in today's class we are going to learn about power set. What is meant by a power set, right? So before getting into power set, we should know what is meant by a subset. We have learned in the previous class, so we just recall. A set A is called a subset of another set B if all the elements of A is there in B. What is meant by a subset? A set A is a subset of set B if every element of A is also an element of B. Then A is called a subset of B, right? Now we will see what is meant by a power set. The set of all the subsets of a given set A is called a power set. It is denoted by P of A. Let us see one example. If the set A has elements 1 and 2, then power set P of A will have all the subsets of A. I explained in the previous class how to list out the subsets of a given set, and I added two important note also. First one is every null set is a subset of the given set, and the set itself is also a subset of the given set. So when we are listing out the subsets of the set, first you should start with the null set and you should end with the given set. In between you list out the remaining sets by starting with the set with one element, and then a set with the two elements, and then set with three elements, and so on till you reach the original set. Now we are dealing with a set with two elements only. So P of A will consist of all the subsets. So we have started with the null set, then a set with single element. So what are all the options there? Set with 1 as element, set with 2 as element. Then go with the set with 2 elements. So 1, 2, thus we reach the original set itself. So we can stop. So that if you proceed in this way, you won't miss out any sets and you won't any mistake. You won't make any mistake, right? So what is a power set? Power set is denoted by P of A and is nothing but the set of all the subsets of a given set. And one important note about power set is, if the set A has n elements, then the power set will have 2 power n elements. With this concept you can check out whether you have written correctly or not. So P of A has 2 power n elements. We can indirectly say that the number of such subsets of the given set will be 2 power n. Let us check out this criteria with the given example. Here A has 2 elements. So number of elements in A, n of A is 2. Therefore number of elements in power set should be 2 power n. So 2 power 2, which is 4. Yes, we have 4 elements in P of A, right? So if a set has n elements, then the power set will have 2 power n elements. So next we are going to learn about universal set. So in set theory, for any discussion we need a set in which the subsets which we are considering should be the subset of that given set. Such a set we call it as a universal set. Any set which is superset of all the sets under consideration is called the universal set and is denoted by U. For example, for set of all integers, we can take the universal set as QRR. Q means set of rational numbers, R means set of real numbers. So if we are going to consider the set of all integers, then all the integers will be there in rational numbers. It will be there in real numbers even. So according to the context of the discussion, we can take the universal set as set of rational numbers or set of real numbers, right? So what is meant by universal set? Under discussion, what are all the sets we are going to consider? It should be the subset of that particular set. Such a set is called the universal set. Next, let us see a few subsets of set of real numbers. What are all the subsets of real numbers? First we have n, the set n. N denotes set of natural numbers. So it starts from 1. So 1, 2, 3, etc. will be the subset of R. So I can write n is a subset of R. Next, what is Z? Z means integers. We know integers will include positive numbers, negative numbers and 0, right? And again Z is also the subset of R. Then what is Q? Q is set of rational numbers. How we can express rational numbers? We have expressed here in set builder form, these two in roster form. How we will express the set of rational numbers? Set of all x such that x is equals to p by q. Any number which is of the form p by q where both p and q are integers and the denominator is not equal to 0 will become a rational number, right? So, set of all x such that x is equals to p by q and p by q belongs to z and q is not equal to 0. Then again q is also a subset of R. Then what is T? T denotes irrational number. T denotes the set of irrational numbers. How we can express the set of all irrational number? The definition of irrational number itself says the number which is not rational will become irrational, right? So, the set of all x such that x belongs to R and x does not belongs to Q. A number which is not a rational number will become an irrational number. A real number which is not a rational number will become a irrational number. So, this is T. T denotes set of all irrational numbers. So, these are all few subsets of real numbers. From this, what are all the relation we can derive? Few relations we can say. N is a natural number, is a subset of integers. Integers is a subset of rational numbers and rational number is a subset of real number. Okay, and what else we can derive? Irrational number is also a subset of real number. Yes, these are few relations which we can derive from this. Next we are going to see about intervals as subsets of R. This is very important concept which we will come across in our higher studies. So, you should have a clear idea about the intervals, which values are included and which values are not included. You should have a clear idea. So, there are two types of intervals. First one is open interval and the second one is closed interval. From the name itself we can see open interval means the values are open, the end points are not included. When it is closed, the end points are also included, right? Open interval is denoted by simple braces, where closed intervals are denoted by square braces, which means it is closed. This is open. It excludes the end points. The end points are not included. Here the end points are also included. If I write the interval a comma b, which means it includes all the values x such that a less than x less than b. It does not include a and b but the values in between a and b. If I say the closed interval a comma b, then it includes all the values in between a and b and also a and b. A and b are also included, which means see if this is a number line and if we have a here and b here, and if I say it's a closed interval a comma b, then it includes a as well as b and all the values in between a and b. Whereas here, if this is a number line and if we have a and b here, and if I say it's open interval, it includes only the values in between a and b and not a and b. Okay. So, let us see with the numerical example. If I say open interval minus 3 comma 2, then what are all the values will be there inside this interval? This is a number line. Here minus 3 falls, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, say. Now it's open interval minus 3 comma 2. So it includes the values between minus 3 to 2. But it won't include minus 3 and 2. So these are all the values it includes. Right. Suppose if I say closed interval minus 3 comma 2, then it will have all the values in between minus 3 to 2 and also it will include minus 3 and 2. Hope you understood. So from this we can have 4 different types of intervals. One is we can say open at A and closed at B. Another one is closed at A and open at B. Another one is open at both the ends, and another one is closed at both the ends. Hope you understood. If it is open at A, then it won't include the value A. Since it's closed at B, it includes the value B. The initial point won't be there inside the set, but the ending point will be there. Here the initial point is included, but the ending point is not included. Here both the values are not included. Here both the values are included. So there are two types of intervals: open interval, closed interval. Open interval means it won't involve the end points, the values won't be there inside the interval. Closed interval means it includes the end points, right? Closed, from the name itself we can identify closed, the values are closed, it cannot go beyond it. Whereas here it is open, so it doesn't have any end point. Okay, now let us see one example. Now what is the relation between the set and the intervals here? Any set can be expressed, a set which is expressed in numerical values can be expressed as interval. For example, if you take this set of all x such that x belongs to R, where -5 less than x less than or equal to 7. So this, what does this set denotes? It denotes the values between -5 and 7, and it should not include -5 but it should include 7. So this can be expressed as an interval like open at -5 and closed at 7. Hope you understood. So this is what the relation between the set and the interval. So this how we will come across these intervals while solving problems. And the length of any interval, how we can calculate the length of any interval, whatever type of the interval it is, we can find its length by using b minus a, by subtracting the end point from the initial point, right? So in today's class, what are all the things we have seen? First we started with the power set. Power set is nothing but the set of all subsets of the given set. It is denoted by P of A. If set A has n elements, then the power set will have 2 power n elements. While listing out the subsets, we will start with the null set and we will end with the original set. If power set has 2 power n elements, then it indirectly says the number of subsets of the given set will also be 2 power n. Next we saw what is meant by a universal set. What is meant by universal set? A superset which involves a superset which consists of all the subsets under consideration is called the universal set. We will denote it by U. And a universal set we can consider any set as per the context of the discussion. So it doesn't matter. For example, if you take set of all integers, you can take universal set as set of rational numbers or set of real numbers. It depends on the context, right? Then we have seen few subsets of real numbers: natural number, integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. And then we saw intervals as subsets of R. Subsets of R can be expressed as two types of intervals. One is open interval, another one is closed interval. Open interval we will denote it by open braces. Closed interval we will denote it by square braces, right? Closed interval include the end points, whereas open interval does not include the end points. And this is what we have seen in today's class. Now we will move on to the exercise. Now see exercise 1.3. First question, make correct statements by filling in the symbols. What does the symbol stand for? Subset or not a subset in the blank spaces. So first question, the set has 2, 3, 4 and here another set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how can we say this 2, 3, 4 is a subset of this or not? Yes, all the elements are available in this, therefore we can say 2, 3, 4 is a subset of this. And what about this? A, B, C, here B, C, D. So for a set to be the subset of the other, all the elements should be available. Here we have B and C but we don't have A. So this is not a subset. And see the third question, the set of all x such that x is a student of class 11 of your school, and this is set of all x such that x student of your school. So will this become a subset or not? Student of class 11 of your school and this is student of your school. This is not a Yes, it's a subset. Yes, if you see the third question, first one is X is a subset of class 11 of your school. Here it is a student of your school. This involves any student of your school. So this is bigger set. It involves each and every student of your school. But here it is only class 11 student. This is a smaller set. Therefore, obviously this will be a subset of this. If you see the next question, the set of all x such that x is a circle in the plane, and here x is a circle in the same plane with radius 1 unit. Here this is a smaller set. This comprises a few circles which has only radius 1 unit, but here this involves any circle. They didn't have any constraint about the radius of the circle. This is a bigger set, so this cannot become a subset of this, whereas this can be a subset of this. So what symbol you will fill here is not a subset. Likewise, you can complete the remaining questions. Okay, next question. Examine whether the following statements are true or false. Examine whether the following statements are true or false. So here they have given few statements and you just check out whether it is true or false. First question, they told you AB is not a subset of BCA. True or false? False, because it is subset. Likewise, you can check and do this. True or false, simple questions only. Now move on to the third question. Let A is equal to, they have given you a set 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and here if you see there is a set itself is an element of this set. This is set of sets. Which of the following statements are incorrect and why? First one, 3, 4 is a subset of A. This is true or false? We have seen this kind of example while learning set of set itself, right? So 3, 4 is a subset of A. This is true or false? This is false, because this 3, 4, set 3, 4 is an element of A and this is not a subset of A. If we want to denote it as a subset of A, again we should express it within the flower braces. Hope you understood, because 3, 4, the set 3, 4 is itself is an element of A, right? Whereas the second one is correct. 3, 4 is an element of A is correct, but subset is not correct. When you see the third example, it is correct, right? I hope the same example we discussed. If you see the ninth subdivision, 5 is an element of A. This is true or not? No, this is incorrect, because 5 is not an element of A. 5 is not an element of A, which is not available in the given set A. But what is the 10th one? 5 is a subset of A. Is true or not? 5 means null set. 5 means null set. So when it is expressed like this, yes, this is true, because every null set is a subset of every set. So if I say 5 is a subset of A, it is correct. But when it is expressed within the flower braces, then they say the set 5 is a subset of A. This is correct or not? No, because if they express within the set braces, which means that this 5 is an element of A, but this 5 is not an element of A. Only if it is an element of A, we can express it inside the set braces and we can say this is a subset of A. Here this 5 is not an element of A, therefore the set 5 won't become a subset of A. When we denote it without set braces, it is named as null set. But when it is denoted within the set braces, it means that it is an element of A, but actually it is not an element of A. Hope you understood. Next question, write down all the subsets of the following sets. Hope you can do this. How you will list out the subsets of any given set? As I told you, you start with a null set, end with a given set, and in between list out by starting with a set with single elements, and then a set with 2 elements, then a set with 3 elements, likewise till you reach the original set. Write all the possibilities. Write all the possible formations, then you will reach all the subsets. And if you want to check out whether what you have done is correct or not, you can check with the formula. What formula is that? The power set will have 2 power n elements. If the given set has n elements, then the power set should have 2 power n elements. You should have that many subsets. You can check out by using that formula. See the fourth question, fourth subdivision. See the fourth question, fourth subdivision. It is phi. Phi means null set. How will you list out the subsets of this phi? What are all the subsets of this phi? Which is nothing but phi only, right? That is the empty set is the only subset. Is the only subset of this given set. Now move on to the fifth question. Is very interesting. You may get this type of question in 1 mark. How many elements has P of A if A is equals to 5? Which means A is a null set. Remember, if this is expressed within the flower braces, then A has one element. Here it is not expressed inside the flower braces, which means it is a null set. You should make out the difference between the null set and the singleton set. Listen, here you should make out the difference between the null set and the singleton set. If the set is expressed as A is equals to a singleton like this, then it is singleton set. Then it is a singleton set because it has one element as phi. Suppose if it is expressed like this, then it is null set. It doesn't have any elements. It doesn't have any elements. Whenever a set is expressed within the flower braces, then each and everything inside the flower braces will be accountable as the element of that particular set. Now come back to this question. Here it is given as A is empty. Then they asked you how many elements will be there in P of A, right? Since A is 5, then this implies n of A is 0, right? Now P of A will have n of P of A will have how many elements? 2 power n, which means 2 power 0. Anything power 0 is 1. And we know if A is equals to 5, then P of A, the various subsets of A will be null set only. Therefore, n of P of A is 1. We got 1. Hope you understood. How many elements has P of A if A is empty? It will have only one element, which is nothing but itself. Which is nothing but itself. Whenever they ask you to list out the subsets, we told you every set is a subset of itself and null set is also the subset of itself. Right? Next question, write the following intervals. Write the following as intervals. They have given you 4 questions. The questions are expressed in set builder form and you should express it in intervals. This type of example also I have shown while explaining the concept. First question, if you see the set of all x such that x belongs to R, minus 4 less than x less than or equal to 6. So this will be open at the initial value and it should be closed at the end value since 6 is included where 4 is not included. So how will you write it? Open braces minus 4 comma 6 and it should be closed with the square brackets. Likewise, you can do the remaining problems. Look at the 7th one. Write the following intervals in set builder form. Now they have given an intervals and you should express it in set builder form. Very easy. The same way you write the set of all x such that x belongs to R. If it is open, then you should not make it as e less than or equal to. If you mention it as equal to, that value is also included. If you make it as equal to, that value is also included. Here minus 3 comma 0, which means both the ends you should not include, right? So this can be written as set of all x such that x belongs to R, minus 3 less than x less than 0. Next question, what universal set would you propose for each of the following? The set of right triangles and the set of isosceles triangles. Yes, 8th question, what universal set would you propose for the set of right triangles and the set of isosceles triangles? As I told you, it depends to the context. You can consider whichever set you feel as a superset of the given set, you can consider it as a universal set. Now set of right triangles and set of isosceles triangles. For these two, we can consider set of triangles. Set of all the triangles as the universal set, because in the first question also they have specified with right triangles and the second question also they are very specific with isosceles triangles. So if we consider set of all triangles as a universal set, it will be Correct. Then we will move on to the ninth question. Given the sets A, B, C, which of the following may be considered as universal set for all the three sets A, B and C? They have listed out four options and they asked you to find out which will suit as a universal set for all the three. You can check out what is the main criteria for a set to be the universal set. All other sets should be the subset of it, right? So just check whether A, B, C will check whether A, B, C are the subsets of the given set. If you take the first subdivision, it has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 6. But when you see the set C, it has number 8 even, which is not available in the first subdivision. So maybe A is the subset of the given set, B may be the subset of the given set, but C is not a subset. But your question is, you should choose a universal set in such a way all the three should be the subset, right? That's how only they asked you the question. So number 1 option cannot be the universal set. Number 2 obviously not, right? Because null set is a subset of any set, but any set is not a subset of null set. A is not a subset of empty set, but empty set is a subset of A. Therefore, second option is also ruled out. If you take the third one, it has numbers from 0 to 10. So, it has all the numbers which is available in the set A, B and C. So, we can very well take number 3 option as the universal set. If you take option 4, 0 is not available, but 0 is there in set C. So, fourth one cannot be used as a universal set for A, B and C. So, the correct answer is 3. Hope you understood today's class. So, do the remaining problems in exercise 1.3 as homework and send it to me. In tomorrow's class, we will start with a new concept called Venn diagram. Thank you, students.